No matter what, people will commit to misunderstanding you. What's most important is your commitment to understanding yourself. Hello, you guys. My name is Nkira Kamadani, known as NK, and welcome back to Misunderstood. Coming to you live once again from the CoverGirl studio. I have now been here for almost a year, and it's been such a joy to come in, meet with the team, get new product. It's so much fun to be in this space. This studio is sick. Also, this is in the Empire State Building. Little NK is always pinching herself whenever I walk in here, and the fact that I have clearance to be in here makes me really happy. But let's talk about the new products they gave me. They always hand me something new every single time I walk in here. So the first one is the CoverGirl Outlast Lip Stain. This is in the shade 65 Natural Blush. I just put a little bit on camera. It is a very natural look for my complexion specifically. They kind of smell good. It also has a fruity, sugary smell to it, which I love. They have so many lip stains. I think they have over 15 shades, so highly recommend checking this one out. The next one is the CoverGirl True Blend Skin Enhancer Blush Balm. So I already have two of these, but I really did want to try this one. Okay, yeah, this is definitely right up my alley. I'm putting it on if you're watching on video. Oh my gosh, well now I have to put it on the other side. All right, I fear I have to take this home now. Wait, that looks so pretty. That actually looks stunning. What color is this? This is 255 Midnight Plum. All right. Those two are coming home with me. That just gave me a true instant glow up. So yeah, big fan of CoverGirl. I always have been, even before I got to come into the studio, but it's always fun to try on the new product. And today we are talking about how to find joy in your life. This is going to be a guide to living whimsy. This is a topic that has been on my mind to bring to you guys because I live a pretty whimsy life. I find myself doing things that inspire me almost every single day. And because of that, I do feel like I'm just an overall happier, optimistic person. That's one of the things my friends always tell me, that I love doing things that are outside of the box and things that are fruitful to my life. So we're going to talk about what whimsy is, and then we're also going to be talking about tangible activities you can do to actually live a whimsy life. And you might think, why is this important? Well, it's important to be happy. As simple as that statement is, I think a lot of people forget that life is supposed to be enjoyed. We're supposed to have a good time while we're living. And I've personally found so many ways to integrate joy and happiness into my everyday that I want to share with you. So if you are in search of anything that will make your life feel more inspiring, make your life feel more enjoyable, this episode is absolutely for you. But before we get started, take some time right now to rate this show, Misunderstood, 5 stars. I love this podcast. I know so many people do as well. Hearing your guys' feedback means the world to me, and we got to get our ratings up. Take some time right now to do the very free and easy step and rate this show 5 stars on Apple and Spotify. Feel free to also leave a written review on Apple Podcasts. That means so much. Thank you so much. I've collected 5 tangible ways to add more joy and whimsy into your life. So we're going to be talking about analog hobbies, no scroll Sunday, dopamine doses, whimsy words, and romanticizing little joys. But let's first start with a definition. I am such a nerd. I love words and I love learning about what words mean. So what does the word whimsy mean, you ask? I'm reading this straight from the dictionary definition. Whimsy is a quality of playful, quaint, and fanciful behavior and humor. And then what I wrote, essentially not taking life too seriously and bringing the fun and magic back. I always like to say life can be very serious, but a lot of times it's not. It's not so serious. We shouldn't be going through life unhappy all the time. That just seems so sad and depressing. I don't want that for any of you. It's about making your life a really happy, fun space that you want to come back to regularly. I want you to think of your life as a home rather than escaping it. And I think the practice of adding whimsy into your life will actively do that. So number 1 is analog hobbies. Why analog hobbies are so important is, first and foremost, they save your mental health. Analog essentially means non-digital. It's bringing it back to the days before we had our phones, before we had our laptops, before we had the screen time. Analog forces us to slow down, slow our brain down, which of course positively impacts our mental health, and it makes you more connected to your life as you are living it. Being analog, I believe, is also synonymous with being very present in what you're doing, because analog hobbies, for the most part, require you to be all in. You are literally hands-on in the activity, and you can't do anything in tandem with that because you are hyper-focused on what you're doing. All of the analog hobbies that I do, I feel so ingrained in, and it makes me so happy. And of course, we're going to talk about them. So let's run through the list of as many analog hobbies that I can think of, / what the internet gave me. For the craft-based hobbies, there's knitting, crocheting, needlepoint, cross-stitching, sewing. There's journaling, calligraphy, sketching, drawing, writing letters. There's painting, origami, making collages, junk journaling. If you guys are YouTube subscribers, you know that I have committed to doing a junk journal every single month, and I actually just finished my March junk journal, and I love it. If you want to see it, go subscribe to my YouTube channel. I just love the act of collecting little trinkets and tokens and quote junk from my month that really highlights what I actually ended up doing in that month, and it tells a deeper story. I also like to pair that with some photos, so I'm technically scrapbooking along with junk journaling at the same time, which I love. And the thing about junk journaling is that it's so personal. It's so subjective. There is no rule book with junk journaling. It gets to be exactly what you make of it. And every single one of my spreads looks so different side by side. And that's the point. It's just a way to keep your brain very activated and engaged and creative. And it's a fun outlet. I also have a reading journal, which I talk about as well on my YouTube vlogs. But my reading journal is meant for me to have more fun with my journey of reading. It has been a really fun journey to go on. I like to make new spreads every single month for all the different books I read, as well as tracking my reading, and just seeing what I can come up with has been really, really fun. And just a little plug to get your crafts for your junk journals or your reading journals or whatever creative endeavor you end up doing. I just found out there is a Hobby Lobby in New York City, and I went there at the beginning of March, and I fell in love. I was there for an hour, and I cannot wait to make that a monthly outing. There's so many things in there. And if you don't have a Hobby Lobby in your hometown, in your city, you can order stuff online. Michael's is also very similar to a Hobby Lobby, but I just love craft stores. They're so much fun. It just allows me to continue that joy and that whimsy. Other crafty activities are candle making, soap making, and pottery. So I got to do candle making last month. It was so much fun. It was a really cool way to learn about how candles are made. I love candles, and I've always wanted to take a class, so I'm happy that I got to do that. And as for pottery, I got to go to Happy Medium for the first time in March, and it was so much fun. I went with 2 of my friends, and I ended up painting a pot. It ended up taking about 2 hours for the whole process, and my pot turned out great. I actually just picked it up because they keep it for about a week and a half to glaze it, and then you pick it up after it's done. I just love that I made something so hands-on, and I can repurpose it and use it for a few other things in my apartment. But that was such a fun activity to do with my friends, but also I would totally do that by myself. I would go there maybe to paint a mug or maybe to do a clay activity. There's so many things that you can do there at Happy Medium in New York City. But if you don't live in New York City, of course, you can find a pottery studio wherever you live and go have fun. Doing things you've never done before is textbook whimsy. It allows you to challenge yourself. And the fun of not knowing what's going to happen, that's what brings the joy back. Now for some tactile and engaging activities. There's jigsaw puzzles, there's crossword puzzles, board games, cards, baking. I know so many people do sourdough bread baking. I've never tried it. It feels a little intimidating for me, but that doesn't mean I'll never do it. I just know that a lot of people love doing that activity. Decorating cakes, cooking a new meal from scratch. and scrapbooking, one of the items that I love doing so much. And then for outdoor sensory activities, gardening, bird watching, making flower bouquets, long walks, bike rides, yoga, Pilates, reading physical books, and listening to vinyl records. There are quite literally so many more items. These are just a few of many different activities that you can really tap into your analog side. And I personally hope that you do some of these, and feel free to let me know if you end up finding an activity you really enjoy. All right, next is no scroll Sunday. So I've been hearing murmurings of people adopting this term, no scroll Sunday, and I technically have been doing this on my own independently without filming it or anything for a while. Not every single Sunday, but I do find that Sundays are my day that I log off. I log off the internet and I am doing my own thing, either with my friends or by myself. I think Sundays are kind of known to be that day where we all reset and relax. And there are times where I do that, but I actually have a standing Sundays, which I have talked about on the podcast before, but me and my friends have been doing this for now 7 months. We have met every single Sunday to go out and hang out with each other or mingle with other people. There have also been times where we just sit in my apartment or do something low key, but we have weekly hangouts, which really help us connect with each other, of course. But the concept of a no scroll Sunday is to log off the internet and not be on your phone. I know a lot of people are using Brick. I don't have a Brick. I don't have anything against a Brick, but I just don't see myself buying one. If someone gives me one, that's another story. But I don't know if I would buy one for myself. But if you don't know what a Brick is, it is a device that can lock your phone. So you literally cannot access your phone for a set amount of hours. And I think you can set the amount of hours, but it is a very concrete way to stay off your phone. I love using Do Not Disturb, which helps me limit the access of all my social apps. So once you're logged off on your phone, you essentially just have the day to yourself. You can choose your own adventure. You can do whatever you want with your time. I find that I mix my time between hanging out with my friends and doing solo activities or just resetting and being to myself, whether it be journaling or going to the gym or cooking or taking a long walk. There's so many ways I've felt re-energized simply by taking away social media, because social media is very draining. No one can refute me on that. It is a very draining activity. A lot of times social media really warps our brains, which isn't great. So taking those conscious steps to log out of social media for a while really reminds us that we have a life outside of social media, which of course adds the joy back into our life, because the time that we're spending on social media, we can of course be going out in real life and connecting with ourselves and other people. Number 3 is dopamine doses. So essentially, if you don't know what dopamine is a chemical in your body that releases the happy feeling in your body. So dopamine dressing, dopamine decor, it is a way for your body to release happiness and joy through what you're doing. Dressing exactly how you want and experimenting with your style. For me, my style has totally evolved over the years, which I guess that's the point, but I really love the way I dress now. I know that I have found my personal style, which took literally 6-7 years, but I found my personal style and I love it. I would say I am a minimalist overall, but I do love pops of color and I do love mixing patterns and textures to make a really cool outfit, which is dopamine dressing. So just think about how you dress. And this is not me saying dress differently. It's about dressing how you want. If how you dress makes you happy, you are dopamine dressing. And as for dopamine decor, just think about your space, your apartment, your office, at work, wherever you spend a lot of time. Make sure that it looks how you want it and pull in items that you can look at and get joy and happiness from. For me, in my apartment, I have this really cool squiggly mirror that I got on Facebook Marketplace. Every single time I look at it, I smile because I love it. It was a random find, but it's an item that makes you really happy in the space, as well as my mushroom lamps that I've had for 4 years now. I've taken it to every single apartment that I've had, and I love them. I have 2 of them, and they're just so cute, and they're so unique. And again, I look at them. They make me happy. That's the point. Dopamine decor, whatever in your space will give you that dopamine hit, give you that excitement and put a smile on your face. That's what it's about. I also wanted to quickly talk about whimsy artists because I think it's fun to talk about music that makes you feel happy and brings you joy, literally. A few artists that make me feel that whimsy, make me feel that joy, that pep in my step. Olivia Dean, Natasha Bedingfield, Katy Perry, Ariana Grande. Those are the 4 artists that I can rattle off the top of my head. Love their music. I love everything about the way I feel when I'm listening to these artists. And then one song in particular that I love so much, it's on so many of my playlists, is Miracles Happen by Mira. This song is in, I believe, Princess Diaries 1 or 2. It's such a beautiful song and it just makes me feel like anything is possible, which is the point of feeling that joy and happiness of life. I listen to it at least once a week. I love it so much. Number 4 is whimsy words. So finding joy in life can be in big ways, but also small everyday ways. And for me, I love looking up words that I don't know, especially when I'm reading. I find that I really am adding to my vocabulary at a pretty rapid rate because all of the books I read, for the most part, are really engaging and really make me think outside of myself. So I like to make a log of every single new word I find in a book. And I wanted to spotlight a book that I found so many new words in. So in November, I read The Secret History by Donna Tartt. This book was a really powerful book. I took away over 25 new words that I had never heard, and I had never seen them used in everyday language. This book was also written in 1992, so a while ago, but I want to bring that back. Why aren't we bringing back expressive, fanciful, enchanting, playful language? Why not use a word that we don't use that much in substitute for a word that we do use a lot? Why not? They're all words. I just think that using new words makes you look really smart, but also it makes you come across more thoughtful because you're taking that time to use a new vocab word. Words are so special. I'm such a nerd, but I love learning new things. So I'm going to read off a few of the words that I found in that book that I really enjoyed. So feel free to look these words up if you'd like. So the first one was bilious. A bilious person is someone who is peevish, ill-tempered, or constantly in a bad mood. Okay, some of the other words: vacuous, dejected, Dantesque, cryptogram, pallid, tantamount, verdant. And for this one, I looked up how to use it in a sentence. So the sentence is, after the spring rains, the verdant hillsides were so vibrant, they looked almost painted against the blue sky. I just love that. Perfunctory, fatuous, mordant, compunction, agog, inscrutable, didactic. How fun, right? Please tell me I'm not the only one, but I just love learning new words. I love expanding my vocab. That is such a easy way to add joy in your life. And number 5 is romanticizing little joys. So I am the queen of romanticizing my life. I do it all the time. I've talked to you guys through every single season now of me romanticizing my seasons, finding new things to do, but also in my everyday, I feel it is so important to live a fruitful life. And you don't have to solely go on trips and spend a lot of money to be happy. Happiness is not tied to how much you spend or what you're doing per se. You should be asking yourself, are you intentional about the activities that you're doing? Do you enjoy how you feel doing said activities? And for me, I have done a lot. So I'm just going to share a few ways that you can do this as well. There's, of course, so many more. I've just written down a few. First off is switching up your bedding. I think this is a fun way to add a little joy in your life. I did end up finding my yellow bedding and I love it so much. I also have my pink crochet blanket on my bedding, which me and my grandma made when I was 9 years old, and I still have it to this day. It makes me so happy. It brings me joy. That's exactly why it's on my bed. So just thinking about how you can refresh your bedding can go a long way with how you feel every single day. You're sleeping in your bed, you make your bed in the morning, and you return back to it in the evening. So make your space look fun and fresh and inviting. Another one is writing letters to people and yourself. I love writing postcards to my friends whenever I travel, but again, it doesn't have to be when you're traveling. You can do this in your everyday. Maybe you have a friend who is far away, write them a letter. They won't be expecting it probably, and that will really go a long way with them. Letters go a long way with me, so I do love writing letters for other people. And then write yourself a letter. I have this tradition I've been doing now for 3 years. I've written myself a letter every single birthday. And it's been such a beautiful way to recap the entire year and also wishfully bring in the new year and all that comes with it. And when you're writing, you just get to pour yourself into the page. Writing is such a beautiful practice. I love it so much. I highly encourage everybody to do it. It's, again, such a subjective activity. There's no rule book to writing. Specifically with creative writing, there's no rule book. You can do whatever you want, and it's a very freeing practice. The next one I wanted to shout out is coloring. I have a few coloring books now, and coloring really calms my brain down, and it allows me to de-stress. I usually pair coloring with listening to music. I swear that is free therapy. Just get some markers, get a coloring book from wherever, spend time coloring. Every time I color for about 30 minutes to an hour, which actually is quite a bit of time, but it just helps me tap out of anything that's stressing me out, social media, life in general, and tap into myself. What colors do I want to use on this page? That's all I'm thinking about. And that's all I should be thinking about because it just makes me happy to see how I pair colors together. And just the act of coloring quite literally slows your brain down. It is such a whimsy activity and it brings you joy. I promise. If you do it, you'll know what I'm talking about. The next one is one that I want to do because I'm seeing everyone do it, is making star ice cubes. For this, you literally just need to find a ice cube maker that is shaped into stars. Honestly, I know I could find that at the freaking dollar store. I really want to do this. I currently have circle ice cube makers, which are cute, but I really want to have the star ones because they're just fun and they just add that whimsy. They add that extra touch that is exciting. And the last one I have on here is a spontaneous Saturday. I think the beauty of a Saturday is realizing that you can make your own adventure. Last Saturday, I had a completely free day, which rarely happens. So I definitely took advantage of it. And thankfully, it was pretty sunny in New York City. So I was literally out from 10:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. I was out for 9 hours and I had the best day. I decided to walk places I've never been. I decided to use my free will. We all have free will. We can literally do whatever we want. So why not explore that? And that's what finding the joy in life is all about. Living whimsy is all about. So I took a very, very long walk to the East River. I read my book along the water. I popped into some bookstores, went to Trader Joe's to get a quick lunch, and I walked to Central Park and ate my lunch, and I read and I listened to music. It was honestly a dream day. And I realized that everything was on the fly. I did not go to bed the night before knowing I was going to do this. Everything was so impromptu and everything was amazing. There were so many parts of the day that I remember saying, I'm so happy. It's that easy. I don't think a lot of people realize how easy it is to be happy, how easy it is to find the little wins and little joys. Mind you, yeah, we're all struggling and we're all stressed out about something. No one is completely stress-free. We all have something. I can bet my life on that. We all have something going on that is stressing us to some degree. However, if we're focusing on the wins and we're focusing on the little joys, romanticizing them, leaning into them, we will live a happier life. I swear. It has made me perceive life so differently and for the better. And that's why I want to tell you guys these things. And it's why I want to bring these types of episodes because I find myself so much happier because I'm focusing on myself and I'm focusing on the ways that I can control my narrative. Because we can all control our life to some degree. And I just want everyone to be happy. I believe that all of these things that I've just shared really helps you find your joy again. And with that, thank you so much for listening to another episode of Misunderstood. Remember to rate the podcast 5 stars on Apple and Spotify and follow it wherever you're listening. Join our Geneva group chat. It is always linked in the description of every single podcast episode. Hang out with me on my other socials, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Pinterest at NK Madani. And I will talk to you guys in the next one.